Hey guys, this cold open will also serve as a disclaimer. Shortly after I recorded today's episode, it was revealed by MSG that Bill Spalding will not be back as the play by play announcer for the Devils. He will be replaced by Don LaGreca, the backup play by play voice for the Rangers. I am shocked and saddened by the news. Bill's a friend of the show. I will definitely talk about it in the next episode, but today's episode will focus on speculative trade talks involving Dougie Hamilton and also some sound bites from development camp. So without further ado, this is Locked On Devils. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, Kyle Chalky Flow Play Announcer, Devils Wire Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time credential media member, Trey Matthews. When this episode goes live, I will be celebrating two things. The first is my 26th birthday, and the second is my 5-year anniversary of being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, first for my birthday, I am nearing the age of 30, if you could believe it. I'm no longer a spring chicken. At least I'm still in my 20s, but all jokes aside, really looking forward to my birthday celebration. And as for my anniversary, I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of my journey in a sense. Without your listenership, without your support, there is no show. Thank you so much for making Locked On Devils as big as it is and helping me achieve my goals and aspirations at my young age of 26, if you still consider me young. But thank you guys so much. But enough of the personal accomplishments. What's on the agenda for today's episode? It's that time of the year. Development camp. It's one of the things that gets lost in the fold because obviously you got free agency, the draft, all happening within the last few weeks, but development camp also occurred. So on today's episode, we're going to hear from Mikhail Yegorov and Shane LaChance, the two players playing under Jay Pandolfo at Boston University. Well, LaChance is now in Utica, but you get the point. We got two Terriers to hear from. But to kick off today's episode, we're actually going to address a rumor said by Elliotte Friedman on a recent episode of 32 Thoughts, and it involves Dougie Hamilton. Elliotte Friedman was quoted to say, "I know his name was kind of out there, and I know the Devils have been talking to a couple of teams." He was referring to Dougie Hamilton. I've addressed this before, but I've been seeing the debate happen on social media. Should the Devils hang on to Hamilton or should they move on from him? Hamilton is signed under contract for the next 3 seasons, and he has an average annual value of $9 million. I think this is where people start to have their issues with Dougie because when it comes to the cap hit, he is paid the most. I already did a retrospective episode on Dougie talking about his 2024-2025 season. So I'm not going to bring up a bunch of his bulk stats, but let's recap and let's highlight some of my main takeaways. When we're looking at the offensive point share rating, Dougie does play a vital part on the Devils roster. Look, I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to advanced analytics. I've said that ad nauseum on this platform, but in this case, I think it is appropriate to share. Dougie led all Devils defensemen in that category with an offensive point share rating of 3.4. Ahead of him were forwards, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Timo Meier. Then when we look at defensive point shares, which is an estimate of the number of points contributed by a player due to his defense, Dougie ranked 3rd among Devils defensemen. Ahead of him, Jonathan Kovacevic and Brendan Dillon. But here's something that I think a lot of people will find interesting, and I think everybody knows what this stat is, which is expected goals against. You would think that Dougie, with all the slander he gets from people a part of the Devils discourse, he'd be leading the Devils in that category. But that's simply not true. Ahead of him in that category, Brendan Dillon, Brett Pesce, Luke Hughes, Jesper Bratt. Why is Dougie the poster child when it comes to expected goals against? Not only that, people always say that Dougie turns the puck over, and yes, you are right. But do you know who led the Devils in that category? Jonathan Kovacevic. Now, people are going to make the argument and say that, well, Kovacevic played in way more games than Dougie because Dougie was dealing with injury. That is true, but let's just say Dougie played in all 82 games and led the Devils in that category. Not far behind him would be Jonathan Kovacevic. I haven't heard anybody complain about Kovacevic and him turning the puck over. That's not to say that Kovacevic is a bad player. I'm just saying, like, why does Dougie get all the hate in that category and Kovacevic is given a slap on the wrist if he turns the puck over? Just some food for thought. My buddy over at Full Press Hockey, Jim Behringer, he published a video on social media talking about the repercussions that would happen if you were to hypothetically trade Dougie. And I agree with pretty much everything he said. Here are some of my takeaways. The first being is that the Devils have an elite power play. Dougie is vital on the man advantage because he has one of the best slap shots in the NHL. He can create offense with his shot. If you take Dougie out the equation, I don't think the Devils are as lethal on the power play because Dougie plays a big role in it. I'm not saying he's the kingpin of it all. Obviously, you still got Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, you name it. But make no mistake, Dougie is very important. The second is when it comes to points, Dougie was second among Devils defensemen. Ahead of him was Luke Hughes. So let's just say you do a salary dump for Dougie. Who's going to provide offense on the blue line? Yes, you still got Luke Hughes, but who else is going to do that? Because Brendan Dillon's not going to do it. Brett Pesce's not going to do it. Jonas Siegenthaler's not going to do it. I heard people say, like, well, Shimon Nemeth. Well, Nemeth even admits that his job is to be more of a defensive anchor and not focus so much on offense. That's where Nemeth wants his game to go. I know people have big expectations when it comes to Nemeth and his offense, but it seems like his main focus is defense. People have said Seamus Casey. Look, Seamus Casey, electrifying in the few games that he did appear in. Who could forget his game in Prague where he scored his first career NHL goal? But Seamus has a lot more work to do with his development. Sheldon Keefe even said that he needs to work on his defensive game. Otherwise, he's not going to see many games. And the third and biggest thing for me is who fills Dougie's role in general. Jonathan Kovacevic won't be ready to go at the beginning of the season. Who's behind Dougie? Who will slide into that role? So you just lost a top 4 defenseman and you just did a salary dump. And yes, you get more money, but you still got a big gaping hole to fill when it comes to right-handed defensemen. So my thing is, I'm not willing to move on from Dougie if it's just for salary, because the Devils will have more cap to work with next season. That's not a smart long-term investment, if you ask me. So when I'm hearing the rumors saying that Dougie should be traded, I'm just like, you better have something else in the works. Now, here's where I would be okay with a hypothetical Dougie trade. This is just a pie in the sky example. If you get someone like Quinn Hughes in exchange for Dougie, by all means, do that trade, because Quinn is one of, if not the best offensive contributing defenseman in the NHL. And I'm sure Quinn would love to play with his two brothers, Jack and Luke. If you have something like that in the works, I'm okay with it. But if it's for someone like Jason Robertson, okay, I've said this before. I would love to have Robertson on the roster. I think he would be a good contributor. Definitely adds more depth for New Jersey, but it still doesn't exonerate the fact that you still have a hole when it comes to your defensive execution. Dougie is not as bad as advertised. I'm tired of hearing that narrative. I'm going to die on that hill and say that Dougie gets way too much blame than he deserves. I'm not saying he's a two-way defenseman. He definitely has his flaws to work out. But when people say like, oh, he turns the puck over, he's not the best defensively. Jonathan Kovacevic turns the puck over. Luke Hughes turns the puck over. Yet why are people more patient with them as opposed to Dougie? Why does Dougie get all that sort of blame? That's just where I'm going to reside when it comes to a hypothetical Dougie trade. If Tom Fitzgerald decides to move on from Dougie, fine. But you better have something else in the works. Otherwise, you're going to have more issues. Here's how I will close out today's first segment. The Devils don't get better when Dougie is out. I know a lot of people are probably tired with the fact that Dougie deals with injury, but once again, I don't think it's fair to make Dougie the poster child because the Devils deal with a lot of injuries in general. Their star player, Jack Hughes, he can never stay healthy. Back-to-back seasons, back-to-back season-ending shoulder surgeries. Why is Dougie the poster child when it comes to that? The Devils don't get better when Dougie is out, as proven this past season and as proven last season. When Dougie is out with injury, do the Devils get better? No. Do they get better defensively? No. The numbers show that. I don't see a big improvement like people are saying that the Devils will have if Dougie is not in the mix. So when addressing that rumor by Elliotte Friedman, I really hope Tom Fitzgerald has something else in the works if he's willing to move on from Dougie. So I really hope that things work out the way they're supposed to work out. James Nichols of New Jersey Hockey Now even shared on his social media platform that he'd be surprised if the Devils moved on from Dougie. Never say never, but he'd be surprised as well. I think it would come as a shock to a lot of people, including myself, because Dougie is a key asset on a lot of things. 5-on-5, power play. I think we should stop taking Dougie for granted and stop giving him a lot of the blame. That's how I will end this segment. All right. Before we hear from Yegorov and LaChance from development camp, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it even more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned on the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm a part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Please remember to always gamble responsibly. Okay, to kick off today's segment, we're first going to hear from Shane LaChance at Devils Development Camp. Before I play the soundbite courtesy of the Devils, LaChance appeared in 40 games with the Terriers. He put up 12 goals, 18 assists for a grand total of 30 points. He appeared in 2 games with the Utica Comets. He had 1 goal, 1 assist for a grand total of 2 points. LaChance was drafted in the 6th round back in 2021 by the Edmonton Oilers. How did he make his way to New Jersey? Well, the Devils were facilitating an already established deal between the Oilers and the Bruins that sent Trent Frederick to the Oilers, and the Devils got Shane LaChance. LaChance was also the captain for the Terriers this past season. Such a shame they weren't able to win the national championship. They finished runner-up to Western Michigan University, which is Paul Cotter's alma mater. But digressing a little bit, LaChance, I think he might have a chance of appearing in the NHL. He, like I said, he performed really well with BU. Here's what he had to say at Devils Development Camp. Take a listen.
So Shane, last time we caught up was right after you signed your contract, but now you sort of get this like different feeling of really being part of the organization. How does it sort of feel walking in yesterday, going through those meetings, and now that first online session?
Yeah, it definitely feels different. It's nice though to be under contract and know coming in here and try to make a good impression and know that you could be standing in this locker room, and that's the goal. And I think it's just a different mindset this year. Like I said, being a part of the organization officially, and just trying to make my presence felt here as much as I can.
You mentioned a little bit, but just like about that mindset, like what really changes for a player that you're sort of experiencing, knowing that you have stability might not be the right word, but that contract. Right?
Yeah, I think it's just knowing that it's that much closer, and you're that much closer to your dream and your end goal. And obviously there's a ton of work left to do, but I think just tasting that a little bit and just moving that next step in my career, that it just you can taste it a little bit more, and it just motivates you more.
What do you try and absorb from an experience like this? Because you've got like development coaches, all different types of people around you.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to make a good impression, trying to meet as many new people as possible. Obviously, a lot of these people are unfamiliar to me, and it's nice to just go around, shake as many people's hands as you can, and introduce yourself. Be personable, do whatever I can to just make my presence felt.
Not totally alone. You got your goaltender sitting over there, very close to you.
Yeah.
What is that like, kind of having him in? This is his first time at a Dev camp.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, it's nice to have the familiar faces here. We're close. We obviously went to school this year, and it's nice to see him. I haven't seen him since the end of the year, so it's nice to get out there, chirp him a little bit on the ice, and just do what we do around here.
What can you tell me about who he is as a player, and also when it comes to that chirping, is he just as good at getting right back at you?
Oh yeah, he's a competitor. He's you're looking at me right now, but he'll give it right back to you, and that's why he's so good, and that's why he's the player he is and the person he is. He never wants to let anything go in, and even if it's a backdoor pass in practice that he's got no chance on, he's always pushing himself to get better, and that's why he had so much success last year, and that's why he's going to have some moving forward.
LaChance is a prospect to keep an eye out for, and the fact that he started off in the AHL, I think that's a signal that the Devils have somewhat hope for him that he might appear in the NHL someday. We're just going to have to wait and see. All right, now it's time to hear from Big Mike. A lot of people have big expectations for Big Mike, and I'm certainly no exception. As you guys know, during Four Nations, I had the chance to travel to Boston University and watch the Terriers take on Providence. Yegorov pitched a shutout. It was his first collegiate shutout. Had the chance to speak with him, Pandolfo, post-game. It was a great experience, great college atmosphere. Jack Hughes even caught a stray because I saw somebody in the audience have a sign saying, like, the Jack Hughes for the Devils doesn't work for me. The Jack Hughes here does work for me, or something like that. For anyone who doesn't know, the Terriers at the time had a player also named Jack Hughes, who was a Kings prospect. So little funny, great connection right there. But getting back to Big Mike, here's a scouting report on Yegorov. As a bigger goaltender, Yegorov's approach is a simple one. He keeps his routes around the crease short and sets his feet quickly to give himself the best chance possible to track the puck. He seals the ice well when he drops into the butterfly and makes a lot of saves on quick developing opportunities by simply filling space with his giant frame. Yegorov played both in the USHL and the NCAA. While with the Omaha Lancers, he appeared in 19 games. He had a goals against average of 3.12, a .912 save percentage, and 1 shutout. For anybody who's confused, the Lancers, not really all that good. Yegorov was carrying them, and he did what he was supposed to do. He also broke the franchise record for most saves in a single game. He made 66 saves, and the Lancers still lost that game. That was on New Year's Eve, I believe, against their rival Lincoln. While with Jay Pandolfo, he appeared in 18 games, had a goals against average of 2.15, a .927 save percentage, and he had 1 shutout, which I was in attendance for, like I just mentioned. Here's what Yegorov had to say to the Devils media during development camp. Always has a big smile on his face.
Well, Mike, this is a first impression here walking in. I mean, we saw you in Boston, sitting there with Marty Brodeur in Boston, but What's this sort of experience like, starting yesterday and being on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Again, like so many people, as you mentioned, even Marty's here, and just like they all work with us, so much attention, and I mean, so much attention to details as well on the ice and off the ice. So important, and we're just getting to know what hopefully our future looks like. So yeah, it's just great to be in that locker room, in that place. So yeah, it's great.
I was going to say, what is sort of like that most exciting part of this experience for you? It seems to be just getting to know everyone.
Yeah, you're right. And obviously just being here, as you mentioned, it's the first time being here. I didn't get a chance to be here last year as I got drafted. So it's my first time, again, just seeing all these people, getting to know all the boys is great. And again, like hopefully they're my future teammates. So yeah, it's great to build those connections, obviously.
You've got one teammate here in Shane. He said, you're a good chirper on the ice. You guys like to go back. What's it sort of like having him and maybe just someone familiar?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was a captain in BU, and he's very supportive. Since the first day, he was very, like as I said, supportive to me. He was very kind, and so yeah, like obviously we go with each other sometimes, and when we were doing power play, I always try to be in his end just to stop as much as I can from him. And but no, it's great to have those people who share the same mindset as me, and try to make each other better every day. Yeah.
Describe your style of play in goal for those that don't know much about you.
I think I'm just athletic, and it's my biggest strength. And as I grow up, I just try to be more patient, more present, I would say. That's my priority, to use my size, but at the same time to be very athletic and use my reflexes, and just try to stop the puck.
Did you surprise yourself with your play at BU this year? I mean, because you were like such a fan favorite too. Like after games, after wins, you're slamming into the glass, and they just loved it. It's like the dog pound over there.
Yeah, I mean they are a dog pound. Yeah, they call themselves a dog pound. Yeah. I mean, obviously it was a big step for me, as it was not planned. I was planning on staying in USHL for the whole year, but it was obviously a transition for me. It went well. Again, the team was very supportive, the coaches. I mean, it was all great just to start working and getting my feet wet right away. And I was lucky enough to start playing there, getting time, getting wins, and try to just get my job. And then obviously everything slamming the boards coming with that, with great fans, with great atmosphere there.
And what has the coaching staff kind of told you at BU that you need to work on to maybe establish yourself at the pro level, the next level?
Yeah, so it's very important for me to work on my stick if we're talking about technical skills. So just like stick handling, like my getting better in just being present and having better hands. But the most important thing is getting a better mindset and just being consistent all the time, not having ups and downs. I think for goalies it's the most important thing, and that's my ultimate goal, to be as consistent as possible. Obviously it's very important at the NHL level, so college will be obviously a great experience for me.
Sasha Boumedian went first round. How was Sasha as a defenseman, and easy to communicate with him?
Yeah, we were actually great friends, and I was sleeping actually when he went first in first round. I was sleeping because it was like 4 a.m. in Russia, so as soon as I woke up though, I congratulated him. But yeah, he was a great defenseman and great two-way defenseman. Like when I saw the young guy just getting like in the offensive zone and making plays there at the age of 17, I was very impressed, and there's no surprise for me that he went first.
Where does your personality come from? Is it mom? Is it dad? Do you have siblings? Like, you're so happy. Like,
Thank you. That's all I can do, to be honest. But my mom, like my dad. I think that my mom plays a big part in it. I think I still kind of have maybe 70-30, 70% from her. She's very smart. She's very intelligent, and I'm just trying to be I'm just trying to enjoy life, and again, like, this place is the best place that I can be right now. So yeah, it's awesome.
When you're on the ice, it's fun, right?
Of course. It's awesome. And again, trying to kind of chirp guys a little bit, but also have fun catching the puck.
How old were you when you left Russia to start?
I was 17. Yeah.
Why was that important for you to sort of come over when you did and sort of start adapting? Because not everyone does that at 17.
Yeah, of course. And for me, it was very important to get a good education. And my parents always told me that if I play hockey well, I can potentially come over to North America and get a great education. And now I'm in BU, in very good school, and it's all good. Trying to get good classes too, but yeah, like that was primary goal, I would say. But obviously, just trying to be in North America is like as fast as possible, I would say, right, as soon as possible, and just to start climbing that ladder. Obviously, I want to be an NHLer one day, and being in North America and adjusting to this style, to this speed, is very important too.
What do you study in school? Like, what are your maybe favorite classes, or you like to?
Yeah, I took one interesting class last semester. It was called Homeland Security. People started calling me Russian spy after that. But yeah, like I'm majoring in econ and math. Okay. So yeah, like obviously I like math, but that one was very interesting, to be honest.
Did your mom and dad play any sports in Russia?
My dad was a swimmer, but they didn't like play sports. They were just like solo.
I don't want to jump the gun or jinx anything, but I think it's safe to say that Yegorov has a really bright future. He might be the future for the Devils, and I'm glad that Tom Fitzgerald traded away John Marino in order to get that second round pick so they could scoop up Yegorov. He's going to be a really good goaltender. I can feel it because there's so many great Russian goalies in the league already. You got Andrei Vasilevsky, Ilya Sorokin, Sergei Bobrovsky, back-to-back champion with the Panthers. And I hate to admit it, but Igor Shesterkin, also a great goalie who hails from Russia. I really hope Yegorov can follow in their footsteps. I have high hopes for Yegorov, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts. What are your expectations for the two Terriers, Shane LaChance and Mike Yegorov? Also, share your thoughts on Dougie Hamilton. Do you want to see him stay or do you want to see him go? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast streaming service, hit me up on my personal X page app at TreyMatt4 or the show's X page app at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. Continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day in New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys next episode. Thanks for listening once again.